Well, I think this pretty much closes the book on its Me Too. They're tuning in for Me Too. Oh, the WNBA's not going to like that. Oh, those Angel Reese trolls online that are trying to come for me and other YouTube channels, y'all aren't going to like this. Good. Too bad.
The WNBA has no idea the storm it's standing in the middle of. On the surface, everything looks like it's finally taking off. Sold-out arenas, soaring TV ratings, exploding merchandise sales. But peel back the surface and you'll find a dangerous truth. This entire rise is resting on the fragile shoulders of one player. Caitlin Clark hasn't just arrived, she's detonated a cultural earthquake. And while the league desperately tries to act like this is all part of some master plan, what's really unfolding behind the scenes is much more chaotic, much more fragile, and potentially much more destructive.
Don't hate the player, hate the game she got, because she's really talented, especially for being Falangi, She's like the Stephen Curry of WNBA with the threes and stuff. Like, proven fact is, they had a game on June 7th scheduled. It was going to be Angel Reese's team, which plays for Chicago. And then for Caitlin Clark's team, they were supposed to go up there playing Chicago on June 7th. First, the ticket sales were at $76 a ticket. Then after they found out Caitlin Clark's not playing that game, she got injured, sales dropped to $25 a ticket.
Because here's the reality nobody inside the league office wants to say out loud. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball. She's carrying an entire professional sports league. The WNBA existed before her, but it's living because of her. And if something happens to her, physically, politically, or emotionally, this whole newfound empire could collapse in the blink of an eye.
I mean, it's more statistical proof, data, to confirm exactly what we've been saying, that Caitlin Clark is driving this whole ship, this whole bus. She's driving it. Everybody else, get in the back. Get in the back.
When Caitlin Clark steps onto the court, economics bend. Ticket prices that once resembled clearance sales at the local mall now mirror luxury concert events. We're talking nosebleed seats selling for rent money. And if she happens to miss a game due to injury, prices free fall overnight like the stock market on Black Monday. There's no precedent for this kind of gravitational pull in women's basketball. In fact, there's barely precedent for it in any sport, period.
Hi, Angel. David Moses with the Bigs Media. Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you two. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next
getting...
question. Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you.
Take one recent example. Clark's team was scheduled to face Angel Reese's Chicago Sky in early June. Tickets initially hovered around $76, respectable by WNBA standards. But the moment news broke that Clark might not play, prices crashed to just $25. One player's absence instantly erased thousands in ticket revenue. That's not normal. That's not hype. That's raw market power. This is Clarkonomics, and it's rewriting every rule the WNBA thought it understood.
Ticket sales are down 70% in many places. The Fever played the Mystics 2 nights ago. The cheapest ticket before her injury was announced was $41, okay? The cheapest one. After her injury was announced and people knew that she wasn't going to be playing, the lowest ticket price dropped to $3. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. The WNBA still doesn't quite realize what they have in Caitlin Clark. She is the absolute golden goose, the golden ticket. She is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. They must protect her at all costs. You can argue all you want if she's the best player in the league, but you absolutely cannot argue if she's the most important, because she is. She is more valuable than all the other players combined, and that is just a fact.
But where there's rapid success, there's also resistance. Enter Angel Reese. Just a year ago, Reese boldly declared that fans weren't tuning in just for Caitlin Clark, but for Me Too. Fast forward, and the numbers tell a very different story. One that's uncomfortable for some players who now find themselves living in Clark's shadow. Reese's frustration is starting to show both on and off the court, from tense press conferences to not-so-subtle social media shade. This isn't just healthy competition anymore. It's starting to feel like a cold war inside the league itself.
WNBA is now suffering a major injury as Caitlin Clark is going to be out for 2 weeks with a quad injury. And the reason we're bringing this up specifically is the Clarkonomics effect to this. Obviously, players miss time all the time, but the Sky and the Fever were supposed to play in Chicago in about a week on June 7th. The opening ticket price was $86 because you have the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark showdown that is now box office. Yeah, those tickets are now down to $25. Down to $25 after the injury announcement. And it's supposed to take place in the Bulls Arena, the United Center, as opposed to the normal Wintrust Arena. That's about a 12,000 seat difference, give or take. So,
and here's where I need your help. If you're one of the few brave viewers actually watching videos like this, diving deep into what's really happening behind the scenes, then you're exactly the kind of subscriber I need to build this channel. We're bringing you breakdowns no one else dares to say out loud. So do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and drop a comment down below, sharing your thoughts. Is Caitlin Clark saving the WNBA or dividing it? Your engagement keeps this conversation alive and helps this small channel reach more people like you who actually care about the truth behind the headlines.
Now, fans that either sold their tickets or whatever, all of a sudden an emphasis is starting to get thrown onto the tickets where people believe she will be playing. And that's starting to make the ticket prices go up, up, and up.
The numbers don't lie. In many arenas, when Clark's not playing, ticket prices plummet by as much as 70%. Entire venues sit half empty without her presence. And when she is playing, tickets spike to Super Bowl prices. Even scalpers, yes, the same ones who usually flip Beyoncé or Taylor Swift concert seats, are now swarming WNBA arenas because of one player. It's unprecedented, and it exposes how fragile the league's financial surge really is.
Support system, that shouldn't change. I think, Caitlin knows that she has the ears and eyes in the locker room, and the support that she has behind, whether it's us or anybody else. I would like to think that she knows it's there, and to really take her time and make sure that she's, well enough to be who she needs to be for us, because I want the 100% Caitlin, so I'll take it.
The fever isn't limited to ticket sales. Television networks are fighting for broadcasting rights the moment Clark's name appears on a schedule. Merchandise is flying off shelves like never before. Even ushers and arena staff are reporting record tips in attendance because of the influx of new fans desperate to catch a glimpse of her, whether she plays or not. Caitlin Clark has transformed the WNBA from a niche league into a mainstream product practically overnight. But what happens when your entire economy depends on one superstar?
Turns out she's human after all, Dan. She's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, what's interesting about Caitlin Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up. I heard you talking about it earlier, and it's going to be fascinating to me, Ricky. I've been to Fever games, and the one thing you notice, and this is more so than even when Peyton Manning was the quarterback of the Colts.
Instead of embracing this new golden era, many of Clark's fellow players are reacting with jealousy, frustration, and passive aggression. While public interviews remain polished, behind closed doors the vibe is far more toxic. Some veterans appear threatened by the idea that Clark's popularity has eclipsed years of their hard work. Instead of seeing her as a rising tide lifting all boats, they act like she's stealing endorsements, media attention, and sponsorships they believe they deserve.
One word to describe Caitlin Clark.
Amazing.
Yes.
A beast. She is the truth.
You see it in press conferences where players roll their eyes at questions about Clark. You see it in cryptic tweets, in hard fouls, in icy locker room dynamics. The resentment is thick, as if Caitlin Clark walked into their private country club and took over the main stage. But here's the brutal truth. She didn't steal anything. She earned every bit of this attention through generational talent, cultural relevance, and jaw-dropping performances that have redefined what fans expect from women's basketball.
And I mean, she's the truth, and she was a rookie, right?
Yeah.
Knock down the three-pointer, get to the rim. She can get to the free throw line. She's crafty.
Yeah, very crafty.
Crafty. So sometimes she look like she's coming off for a three-point shot and she backdoors you for a layup. She gets her teammates involved. She can pass. She can shoot. Man, she is the complete basketball player.
And while tensions grow inside the locker room, up in the league office, a different narrative is being carefully crafted. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has embarked on a full-blown media tour, presenting herself as the architect behind the league's sudden explosion in popularity. She credits strategic growth initiatives and multi-year planning, conveniently downplaying the one obvious factor everyone can see: Caitlin Clark.
How crazy was this season versus the seasons past?
Our jersey sales were up 1,193%. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and we're thrilled about it. But it brought visibility to the whole team of the Fever and to the WNBA. But if we just want to keep it in Indiana, we look at ticket sales sold out every night, over 17,000 fans in our games at home. When Caitlin announced that she was coming out into the draft on a Thursday afternoon, from that time to Sunday night, we had over 6,000 phone calls, people wanting to buy season tickets. But even something as simple as our terrific mascot, Freddie Fever, his appearance requests went up 150% this season. So you talk about the Fever, the team, which is what we've been working on.
Engelbert's self-congratulatory speeches would almost be laughable if they weren't so out of touch. In one recent article, she mentioned Clark's name only 2 or 3 times while touting her own leadership dozens of times. The league didn't plan for this moment. It stumbled into it. Engelbert didn't manufacture Caitlin Clark's viral highlight reels or pack 17,000 fans into Fever home games. She simply happened to be holding the clipboard when lightning struck. But instead of acknowledging the source of the storm, she's trying to convince everyone the rain was part of her forecast.
Shame on you. Kathy Engelbert pens this beautiful article written by Kathy, about Kathy, for Kathy, explaining why she is solely responsible for the boom of the WNBA. Folks, I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. The commissioner of the WNBA on transferring the league ahead of a breakout season. And what was that plan that Kathy Engelbert put in place? Working in partnership with my new WNBA team members, NBA colleagues, and WNBA owners, we developed a strategy with 3 pillars. The league would think player first.
Let's get brutally honest for a second. If Caitlin Clark suddenly retired tomorrow, the WNBA would spiral into an economic freefall. TV ratings would nosedive, sponsors would bail, ticket sales would flatline, the brief national buzz would evaporate. The league would revert back to being a niche passion project, tucked somewhere between bowling and cornhole championships on ESPN2.
Yes, man, you guys heard me correctly. None other than Kathy Engelbert is singing a different tune this season about Caitlin Clark. Now, we know last year she was talking about all of the other rookies being included in this, making a difference, being able to help contribute to the big bang of the WNBA. This time around, she's owing it all to Caitlin Clark. Me personally, I told y'all this at the beginning of the month, the chickens was coming home to roost for the WNBA, because I'm telling you right now, there has been a lot of spooky things going on and people is tired of it.
This isn't to diminish the talent of other players who've carried the league for years. But talent isn't the same as cultural relevance. Clark has tapped into something bigger than basketball, a perfect storm of timing, viral attention, and generational interest that no marketing plan could have manufactured. She's not just a great player. She's the gravitational center of the WNBA's entire ecosystem. And that's exactly why some inside the league resent her so deeply. They know how fragile this house of cards really is.
Engelbert, in her naivete or in her delusion, she takes credit for it. Instead of saying it's because of Caitlin Clark, instead of saying it's because of the person from Iowa, instead of saying it was because of her, Kathy says, oh, it's all me. My strategy, my plan, my 3 pillars. In this entire article, Kathy Engelbert mentions Caitlin Clark's name 2, maybe 3 times. Angel Reese's name once. Cameron Briggs' name once. Let's get right into it, because this article, from start to finish, is disgusting.
Yet despite her value, the league seems bizarrely indifferent to protecting its most valuable asset. Game after game, Clark takes brutal fouls that would make even NBA enforcers flinch. She's getting hammered on drives, knocked down on screens, and clotheslined on cuts, all while referees swallow their whistles. The league acts like it's letting them play physical, but what they're really doing is gambling with their golden ticket's health. This isn't load management, it's legacy management. The WNBA should be bubble wrapping Caitlin Clark between games and hiring Secret Service agents to escort her to the bench. Instead, they're treating her like any other rookie who needs to prove herself. Newsflash: she's already proven herself. She's the reason your team's next game is airing on ABC instead of public access. She's the reason you have sold-out crowds and corporate sponsorships knocking on your door, and every unnecessary hit she takes brings the entire league one step closer to disaster. At the end of the day, the Caitlin Clark phenomenon isn't just about basketball. It's about survival. She's brought millions of new eyeballs to a league that struggled for decades to capture mainstream relevance. She's created an entirely new class of casual fans who had never watched women's basketball before. She's turned season tickets into premium collectibles, boosted merchandise sales over 1,000%, and forced sports networks to give the WNBA prime-time coverage. And yet, some players and executives continue treating her like an intruder rather than a savior. They're so busy gatekeeping that they don't realize how close they are to throwing away the greatest opportunity the league has ever had. Caitlin Clark isn't here to steal anyone's spotlight. She is the spotlight. The WNBA can either embrace that reality or risk watching this entire revolution evaporate as fast as it appeared. The WNBA isn't just witnessing a generational player. It's standing at a crossroads that will determine its future for the next 20 years. Caitlin Clark has already done the impossible. She made people care. Now, it's up to the league to decide whether they'll support her, protect her, and capitalize on this once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, or destroy it from within through jealousy, politics, and short-sighted ego. The choice has never been more obvious or more dangerous. And if you've stayed with me this long, you're part of the rare audience that actually sees the bigger picture. This is exactly the kind of deep dive content we're building on this channel. Unfiltered, honest, and never afraid to say what others won't. So please, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the WNBA is embracing Caitlin Clark or sabotaging its own future? Let's get this discussion going.